Hi, welcome to Mrs. Park's Algebra 1 class. This is Chapter 8, Section 3, Quadratic Equations. Sounds fancy. Alright, let's find out what it is. Alright, well before we do that, why are we going to do such a thing? Let's see here. Diana is having a rectangular in-ground swimming pool installed and she wants to include a 24 feet fence around the pool. The pool requires a space of 36 square feet. What dimensions should the pool have? To solve this problem, the landscape architect needs to find two numbers that have a product of 36 and a sum of 12, half the perimeter of the school. Alright, so in this kind of situation, you will have to find by factoring. Okay, so factoring x squared plus bx plus c. In lesson 7.7, you learned how to multiply two binomials by using the FOIL method. Do you remember the FOIL method? You multiply front, outer, inner, last. Okay. Each of the binomials was the factor of the product. The patterns for multiplying two binomials can be used to factor certain types of trinomials. So here, if you remember, we did FOIL, front, outer, inner, last. And when you multiplied everything and then combined the like terms, you had your simplified answer, x squared plus 7x plus 12. Notice that coefficient of the middle term, 7x, it's a sum of 3 and 4, and the last term, 12, is a product of 3 and 4. Excuse me. So there's going to be a certain pattern here when you do these problems that the sum of two numbers goes here, and the product of the two numbers are here. So 3 and 4 added is 7, 3 and 4 multiplied is 12. Okay? So if you make that into a pattern, okay, this x squared plus bx plus c, this b is going to be the two numbers added, and the c here are the two numbers multiplied. Okay. Alright, so factoring. To factor trinomials in the form x squared plus bx plus c, find two integers m and p with a sum of b and a product of c. Okay, that's what we just said. So you're finding two numbers. When added equals b, when multiplied equals c. Okay, so here are the symbols. So example, you're finding two numbers when multiplied equals 8 and when added equals 6. So what are the two numbers when multiplied equals 8 and added equals 6? So you can do try and error and find out what numbers. If you want to list them, you can do 1 times 8 is 8, but added is not 6. How about 2 times 4 when multiplied is 8, when added is 6. So here are your two numbers, 2 and 4. So that means x plus 2 times x plus 4 is the factored form of this equation here. Okay. Alright, so, and these examples are when b and c are positive numbers. Okay, so here we go. There, you need to find two numbers when multiplied equals 20 and when added equals 9. Alright, so you're going to start listing the factors of 20. 1 times 20 is 20, but when added is 21. 2 times 10 is 20, but when added is 12. 4 times 5 is 20, when added is 9. There you go, bingo, that's the number we're looking for. Okay, so your factors are 4 and 5. That means your equation is equal to x plus 4 and x plus 5. Okay, and you can check this result by multiplying the two factors. So if you do FOIL, you'll find out that it goes back to your original equation, x squared plus 9x plus 20. Then you know you have the right answer. Okay, so here's your turn, number 1A and 1B. Okay, so you're looking for two numbers when multiplied equals 24 and when added equals 11. And for here, even though it's written backwards, you know this is the same as t squared plus 10t plus 9. Okay, so when multiplied equals 9, when added equals 10. Okay, once you're done with that, come back for your next slide. Alright, welcome back. So here is example 2. When b is negative and when c is positive. Okay, so you see here you have a negative in the middle here. So same thing, two numbers when multiplied equals 12, when added equals negative 8. Okay, so we know there's going to be some negative numbers involved. So you need to find two negative factors that are sum of negative 8 and product of 12. Okay, because this is a negative, you know it's going to be two negative numbers because this is positive. So negative 1 times negative 12 is positive 12. When added is negative 13. Negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12. When added is negative 8. So this is the factor we're looking for, negative 2 and negative 6. That means your answer is negative x minus 2, x minus 6. Okay. And again, if you want to check, you can do FOIL, or you can also do graphing by graphing this equation and see that here, okay, what these two numbers are telling me, 2 and 6, is where it meets on the x. Okay, so this is 2 and this is 6. Okay, and if you see this graph, then you know you did the problem right. All right, here's your turn, numbers 2a and 2b. So go ahead and do these two problems and come back when you're done. All right, welcome back. Here is an example where only c is negative. So this means you will have one negative number and one positive number multiplied to make it negative 15. So negative 1 times 15 is negative 15. When added, it equals 14. Okay, so that's not it. You can also try positive 1 and negative 15, which will not equal 2 as well. Next, you try negative 3 times 5, and when you add it, it equals positive 2. So if you want to try 3 and a negative 5, that also equals negative 15, but when added, that's going to equal negative 2. So you notice here it's a positive 2, so we know that it's going to be a negative 3 and a 5. So here we go. Your answer is x minus 3 times x plus 5. Okay. And again, you can check your answer by doing FOIL. And if it goes back to your original equation, then you know you did it right. All right, here's an example where you have a negative and a negative. So this tells us when you multiply, you're going to have negative 18, which means one factor has to be a positive number and the other has to be a negative number. So let's list everything that can equal negative 18. So you have 1 times negative 18. When you add it, equals negative 17. That's not it. 2 times negative 9. You have, when you add it, negative 7. Bingo, there it is. You want it to be negative 7. So you have x plus 2, because that's a positive 2, times x minus 9. Okay? And what this means, when you graph it, it's going to go through, oops, a negative 2 here, and a positive 9 here. Okay? Then you know you have graphed it correctly. All right, so here's your turn, number 3a and 3b. Go ahead and factor each polynomial and come back when you are done. All right, welcome back. Here's example 4. Solve an equation by factoring. Okay, so here's your equation. Now, you notice it's not equal 0. All you have to do is make it equal 0 by subtracting 27 on each side. And now you have this equation where you can factor. So now we're going back to two numbers multiplied equals negative 27. When added equals 6. Okay, so you can just do try and error. You can start with 1 times negative 27. And that's going to equal negative 26. That's not it. What other numbers can you multiply? Let's do 3, 4. 3 times 9 will be 27, but you want it to be negative. So 3 times negative 9 will be 27. 3 plus negative 9 will be a negative 6. So that's not it. How about if we do negative 3 times 9? When added, it's going to be positive 6. So here's my factoring numbers. So that means x minus 3 times x plus 9, okay, equals 0. Okay. That means my x is going to be a 3 or negative 9. 3 or negative 9. Because when it equals 0, the zero product property, one of these is going to be equal 0. So x minus 3 equals 0. That means x is 3. X plus 9 equals 0. That means x is going to be negative 9. Okay, so those are two answers. All right, this is the last assignment for you, 3A and 3B. Go ahead and solve for z and x. And when you're done, make sure you put this away in your book bag for your homework credit tomorrow. And thanks for watching.